What's up everyone and welcome back to another video. So my name is Oscar Maassen. I'm an 18-year-old trader and I've been trading for over a year now. So this is going to be an educational video about market structure and how it moves. So let's begin by looking at this chart, and as you can see, we have been moving in towards upside over here, right? So I hope that you can clearly see that from this point in time and this point in time, price has been moving in towards the upside. Okay, so of course, what you can also see that price just did not move in one move, because price tends to trade in a kind of stairways way where you move up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and in the long term we are trading in towards the upside, but of course there are some moves in towards the downside as well. Okay, so let's see how market moved from this point in towards this point. So first of all, we traded in towards the upside, and then we made a pullback and traded in towards the downside. Then we began by trading up higher, and then we trade down lower, higher, lower, higher, lower, and higher. So this is how price moved from one point to another. And as you can clearly see, this is not one move, but it moves in that kind of stairways way. Okay, obviously it's not perfectly in proportion. This one is way bigger than this one, for example, but it moves up and breaks highs at all times. So let me explain how it really works. So over here we had a high. Okay, I hope that is clear, that we had a high at this point. From that high we moved down lower and we made a low. Okay, so we made a low. From that low we traded up higher again and we made a high, but it's called a higher high. So why is this a higher high? Because this high is higher than a previous high. Okay, so now from that higher high we trade down lower and we make a low. So what is this called? This is called a higher low. Okay, so why is this called a higher low? Because this low is higher than the previous low. Okay, so this low is higher than the previous low, so that's why it's called a higher low. And from here you just repeat the process. We create then a new higher high and we create a new higher low. We create a new higher high and we create a new higher low. So this is called an uptrend, where you have higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so in an uptrend you expect to just trade up higher again and again and again, and that is what an uptrend is. So if you look at the chart itself, we had a high, we had a low, then we had a higher high, then we had a higher low, then we had a higher high, then we had a higher low, and then we had a higher high once again, and then we had a higher low once again. Okay, so let me show it, because I know this is clear, but let me just show it to be sure. We had a high, we had a low, we create a higher high because it's higher than the previous high, then we create a higher low because it's higher than the low that was previously formed, and then we had the higher high once again because it's higher than the previous high, and the same for the low and the high over here and the low over here. Okay, so I hope that this is clear by now and that we can look for further insights. So now we are going to look at a downtrend. So in a downtrend you trade down, up, down. Okay, so basically what happens is in a downtrend, we move the reverse as in uptrend, because of course up and down is the same, but just reverse. So what did we have over here? We had a high, and over here we had a low, right? So first we had a low, then we had a high, and let me make it a bit more clear. So we had a low, then with a high, and then we moved down lower, and what did we make? A lower low. Okay, so why is it called a lower low? Because it's lower than the previous low. Okay, and then we made a high and then moved down lower. So what is this high called? This high is called a lower high. Okay, so why is it called a lower high? Because it is lower than the previous high. Okay, and then of course here we make a new lower low. So in an uptrend we were looking at higher highs and higher lows, and in a downtrend we are looking at lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so this should be clear by now, that price doesn't move in one move, but that it moves in that kind of staircase form, and that in an uptrend we create higher highs and higher lows, and that in a downtrend we create those lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so now let's see how to draw down the swing structure yourself. So first of all, we had a high over here. Okay, over here we had a high, and then let's move further and see what happens. So at this moment in time we break the high. So what do I mean by break the high? So we had the high, and then you can see that we trade above the high. So that means that we now create a swing low. Okay, so a swing low is the lowest point in the structure. So the lowest point between the high that got broken and the point that it got broken. So in between this price action, okay, we have the lowest point, and that is our swing low. Okay, so let's now look further, and of course this is our swing high, right? Because it's the highest point at this moment in time. So let's now see what happens. And as you can see, we break structure over here. So what happens now? What is our swing low? Is it still this low? No, it is not, because we just broke the high. So we had a high, then we break structure. So what do we know? Okay, our swing low is now the lowest point between the high and the low. So our lowest point is this low. Okay, so after we get a pullback once again, we know that this is our swing high. Okay, and then let's see what happens next. So let's see. Okay, now we break structure once again, or did we? Because here we only traded above the high, so we had our swing high. Of course, I hope that you know that this is our swing high by now, and we broke above the high, right? But this is just a wick, so this is not called a break of structure, and our swing low at this moment in time is not this, what you would expect, but it's still this low over here. Okay, so we only count a break of structure when we have a candle close as we had over here and over here. Okay, only then this is called a break of structure, and we create a new swing low. Okay, so let's now see, because this is called a liquidity grab. And what is a liquidity grab? That means that we like hit stop losses above this high, so we take liquidity, but I'm going to make a video about it soon. But yeah, we just take liquidity and then we could move down lower, and only once we see that candle close above that high, then we know structure has been broken. So let's see what price does. And as you can see over here, we got a break of structure because this is our candle close. So what happens? Our swing low moves over to this low. Okay, so from this low it moves to this low. And why this low? Because we had our swing high, we then break the structure with a candle close. So from this price action in between those 2 points, this is our lowest point, so this becomes our swing low. So let's now see, we are just moving up further, and then you might say, okay, why is this not my swing structure, right? Because this is not your swing structure, because we move in towards the upside. And like I just explained, we have swing structure, but of course, price doesn't just magically perfectly move up, perfectly move down, perfectly move up. No, it tends to really move like this. So I'm just going to draw the same thing as here, but realistic. So we trade up, boom, and then we get a pullback into the downside, and then we trade up higher again, and then we get a pullback once again, and then we trade up higher. Okay, so this is what happens. Okay, so this move is this move. Okay, because as you can see from this point into this point, we have been trading in towards the upside. Okay, in towards the upside. But internally, so what happens internal, we are moving like the staircase kind of form. Okay, then we had the downside move, and then we don't just move in towards the downside. No, we move in some internal structure. The same for this move in towards the upside. We just move randomly. Okay, then again for this moving towards the downside, we move down, up, down, up, down. So basically we do not move in clean moves, but there's also some internal structure. So over here, as you can see, this move represents this move, but also represents, let's just say, this move. Okay, because we had a move in towards the upside, and then you can see a small pullback, and then we trade up higher, and we can see exactly the same upside, upside, downside, downside, and then upside is upside. Okay, so yeah, we move like this, but look at the whole move, it's just a move in towards the upside. So I just wanted this to be clear, that this is not swing structure, but internal structure. Okay, so let me also draw that down. So as you can see, ENT from internal. So once again, one move in towards the upside, but internally we just move like crap. Okay, so this should be clear. Otherwise, just rewatch that part of the video, and if it then still isn't clear, leave a comment down below and I will make a video about it soon. So for now we can see a real move. Okay, so now we can see a bigger move in the market. So now this becomes our swing high. Okay, so those small moves are nothing we should worry about when looking at swing structure, but once you see a real pullback, a big move, then you know, okay, this could be a real pullback, and now this is our swing high. So let's see what happens. Okay, we break the swing high by now, and you should know by now that this then again becomes your swing low. Okay, because once again we have our high, we break structure, the lowest point between those 2 points is this point, and this is going to be our swing low. So let's now see. We are still in an uptrend, so we expect the high to break, right? Because this is our swing high, and in an uptrend we always expect the highs to break and trade up high, right? But let's see what price does. And boom, we break the swing low. So what now happens is that we have a change of character. So why is it called a change of character? Sometimes you'll see it as this, a shock, change of character. So a change of character means that an uptrend or a downtrend changes into a downtrend or an uptrend. So let me make it clear. We had an uptrend over here, and we change to a downtrend. So now we expect to break the downside. Okay, so we change from uptrend to downtrend, and that is a change of character. Of course, it's the same for changing from a downtrend to an uptrend. Okay, so let's see now what is our swing high at the moment. Still this high. Okay, because we had our low, which got broken over here. Inside that price action, our highest point now is this point, and this is our swing high. Okay, so let's now see further. For me, this is still internal structure. Okay, this is also still internal structure, because as you can see, this is just one move in towards the downside, but with that internal, right? But if you look at it from a bigger perspective, this is just one move. Okay, but now you can see that we clearly have a pullback, right? We clearly move up. So now we know this is our real swing low, and again, this is still our swing high. So let's now see and wait what happens. We break the swing low over here. So once again, you can pause the video and do it yourself. What is a swing high? The swing high is this high over here, because between this low and this break of structure, the highest point is this point. So this is our swing high. So by now this should be clear. And yeah, by now we learned that the market moves in that kind of staircase form, which is called an uptrend or a downtrend when you go downwards. We know that once we break structure with a candle, it is called a break of structure, and a new swing low or swing high is formed, and it only breaks when we get the candle close, right, over here. Only if we had a candle close and not with a wick, because a wick is a liquidity grab. Okay, and we also know that the moves needs to be big, because otherwise it's internal structure. Okay, so I hope this was clear, and leave some love down below, of course, but see you in the next one. Ciao.